The pre-rut can be one of the most exciting times during the entire deer season. Bucks are starting to get fired up, they're starting to move a lot more, and more importantly, they're starting to make some mistakes. But the problem is, so are most hunters. In this video, we're breaking down 5 of the biggest mistakes that hunters make during the pre-rut and what you should do instead if you want to tag a mature buck this year. And let's start with the biggest one. Hunting on bad weather days. And I don't mean when it's raining. During the pre-rut, deer movement can be very dependent on weather patterns. You don't want to waste your best sits, your best days on hunts where the weather is warm and the air is stagnant and deer are just bedded down and not moving anywhere. Focus on those cool, high pressure systems that roll in right after a front. When the temperature suddenly drops by 10 or more degrees and that wind stabilizes out, that's when bucks, mature bucks, are gonna be up on their feet earlier. And also, just a little extra tip, no wind is way worse than too much wind. Now, you've probably heard the saying, hunt the wind 1,000 times. I'm sure you've heard it probably 1,000 times just from me. But a lot of hunters only think about wind direction when they're in the stand. The real mistake is ignoring the wind getting to and leaving your stand. If your scent blows into a bedding area or crosses a main trail while you're getting to your stand, it's game over before you even get in your stand. During the pre-rut, bucks are bedded closer to those groups, scent checking to see which one's going to come into estrus first. So if you bump one deer, you're going to bump them all. Mistake number 3 is another big one, and that is overhunting your stands. And look, I really get it. I do this all the time myself. The best hunters I know still fall victim to this. I get it. You've got great sign, you've got good access, you've got good wind, you maybe even got trail cam pictures of a shooter buck in that area. But every time you hunt a stand, you're leaving scent and sound and pressure behind. During the pre-rut, deer are on edge. Bucks are starting to get a little more amped up. They're already putting pressure on each other, and more hunters are getting out into the woods, adding to that hunting pressure all over the place. And so if you start hunting sloppily, you start going to the same place all the time, they start patterning you, they are going to learn to avoid your area long enough for you to lose hope. So do your best to really spread out your hunting pressure. I know it's very tempting to keep going back to the same spots, especially if you've got some good sign, you've got photos and videos of a good shooter buck that you're after. It's very hard not to go there. But don't let that camera tell you where you have to hunt. Yes, it's giving you some good info if you're getting pictures and videos of a deer in that area, but don't let it dictate where you have to hunt. Don't rely on it so much that you never hunt anywhere else. Just because you don't have photos or videos of a buck in another area doesn't mean that there's not good hunting over there. It just means you don't have that camera set up in the right spot. So spread your hunting pressure out and don't let that camera force you to overhunt your stands. Mistake number 4 is you are calling way too aggressively. Every year around late October, the woods start sounding like there are, I don't know, it's like a deer brawl. They're fighting everywhere. Guys get too worked up, too excited, and they start grunting and calling and snort wheezing and rattling, and every call they've got in the books, they're throwing it out there all at one time. But the truth is, in the pre-rut, bucks are testing dominance. They're not fighting for it yet. If you start rattling too aggressively or grunting too much, that older buck, that mature buck that you are after, is either going to circle downwind to figure out what the hell's going on, it's too early for this crap,
I'm too old for this shit,
or they're just going to avoid the area completely. I rarely call in the early rut, and some of the best hunters I know rarely call even at all, but they wait till those peak ruts to really aggressively rattle. If you have to or if you have to call during the pre-rut, keep it light rattles. They're testing each other. They're not full on fighting yet. And for the grunts, I would wait and use those when you've got a buck in sight and he's moving away from you. You might throw a little grunt at him to see if you can get him to stop and turn around and come in just to see what's there. You're not really challenging him. You're like a smaller buck letting him know you're there, if that makes sense. And mistake number 5 is you're either moving too soon or you're not moving at all. Pre-rut bucks are starting to shift patterns. That early season food to bed pattern that we all know and love, yeah, that's changing daily now. If your cameras go cold or you stop seeing fresh sign for more than a few days, don't be afraid to adjust. Or better yet, take that as a sign that you must adjust. Lack of sign is just as much of a deer sign as a lot of deer sign. I don't know if that was confusing. But, and this is key, don't bounce around all over the property without a plan. Every move should be based on fresh intel, scrapes, rubs, tracks, doe activity, trail camera pictures, any kind of fresh intel. Smart moves kill pre-rut bucks. Random moves kills opportunities. That didn't sound as dumb in my head, but you know what? It's going to stay anyway. So if you can avoid those mistakes during the pre-rut, you will be 90% ahead of 90% of all the other hunters in the woods. Focus your hunts on the right weather days, the right weather patterns. Treat your access with the same care that you would treat where you put a tree stand, and use calling and movement strategically. The pre-rut is when bucks are starting to make their mistakes. Just make sure that you're not making yours. Hit that like button if you like this video, share it if you found it helpful, leave a comment down below of your favorite, drop a comment of your favorite pre-rut hunting strategy down in the comments below, and make sure that you are subscribed so you can stay informed.